Hello and welcome to the third video in our series on Western syntax. In this video, I will touch on a variety of topics, including word order, clitics, nominal sentences, clausal coordination, subordination and relative clauses. In the handbooks, it is commonly stated that the word order of a Western in pragmatically neutral context is subject, object, verb. This very basic frame can perhaps be specified by positing a sequence of subject, adverbial, direct object, indirect object, verb. But actually, when you read through some Western text, you will in fact rarely find sentences which are built according to this idealized scheme. In a recent sketch of the syntactical features of Proto-Indo-Iranian, the author notably withdraws to a statement of agnosticism regarding the canonical word order in the ancient Indo-Iranian languages. One phenomenon which regularly results in a violation of the assumed canonical order of constituents is the behavior of clitics. According to a syntactical rule identified by Jakob Wackernagel in the 19th century, clitics generally surface at the second position of the clause. This includes sentential, pronominal, and emphatic clitics alike. For illustration, I put one example involving each of these types of clitics on the slide. The first example features at, a sentential clitic, that is one putting the current clause into a relation to the preceding one. Ashem at Vahishtim Yazamayde. Further, at we worship Yazamayde, best Asher or best order, Ashem Vahishtim. In the second example, the pronominal clitic moi, my, acts as a pronominal attribute of the dative form dainai. Together meaning to my vision or to my daina, if we leave this Zoroastrian technical term untranslated. So, this capability, tom dastform, proclaim, Frau to my daina, moi dainai. Because of the compulsory placement of the pronoun at the second position, moi, my daina becomes a discontinuous noun phrase in a Western. The third example features the emphatic clitic sie. Nu sie chashmaini via darasim. I have just now, nu sie, seen via darasim, with or in my eye. Chashmaini. In a Western nominal sentences, the copula is usually gapped. This is definitely the norm in the third person, as in the first example on the slide. Ho damoish drojo hunush. He is, but is not expressed in a Western, a son, hunush, of the creator, damoish, of the seed. But the copula is occasionally also gapped in other persons as well, like exemplified by the second passage here. Mijdem yehya tu dathrem, the reward, mijdem, of which yehya, you, tu, are, but are is not found in a Western, the source, dathrem. When the verb ah, to be, is used in the third person in Older Western, it is not a copula, but it denotes existence. Yoi angharecha hinticha. Those who, yoi, have existed, anghare, a perfect form of ah, to be, and who exist, hinti, a present form of ah. A variety of particles may serve to coordinate clauses in a Western. Only a few are listed here on the slide. The most important ones include the enclitic sentence connector cha. or in Older Western, cha, and. The conjunction, the additive or adversative conjunction at, and then furthermore or but, and the disjunction war, or. Then there are correlative consonant disjunctions, namely cha, cha, both x and y, va, either x or y, and noit, neither, nor. Finally, there's a number of conjunctive adverbs such as atha, thus, and art, then. When we now turn to subordination, clearly the most important subordinating conjunction in a Western is Older Western yat, Younger Western yat. This subordinator is formally identical with the nominative accusative singular neuter of the relative pronoun and is used in a variety of functions. Here are a few examples illustrating this multifunctionality. In the first example, yat serves to introduce a temporal clause. Yat he tanush hishqui bavat paschaita. When yat, his body, he tanush, hishqui, dry, becomes bavat, then, and then the sentence continues. In the second example, it introduces a consecutive clause. Yat yavo porush babat. Yat, here meaning so that. Yavo, the barley. Porush, much. Babat, may become or becomes. Yat may finally also function as a complementizer. The example here is tat achmai jasad ayaptem, that boon came to him. Yat he puthro usayata. Yat, that. He puthro, to him a son, was born. Usayata, a middle form of the verb for to be born, used as a passive. Yat is complemented by and partly alternates with a series of more specific subjunctions. These include, for instance, yada, or Older Western yada, Younger Western yada, when, yatha, Younger Western yatha, so that, yavat, as long as, and Younger Western yesi, if, and so on. A distinctive feature of a Western sentence structure is the frequent use of correlative adverbs in the matrix clause, which refer back to the subordinating subjunction in the subordinate clause. Examples are yatha, atha, as, thus, at hyat, then, when, and the same can also be observed with relative pronouns, which are regularly resumed in the matrix clause by a demonstrative. So the relative ye may be resumed by achmai, who, to him, and also the other way around when the relative clause precedes the matrix clause, turn those, in the accusative case here, yoi, who. In turn, the correlative demonstrative in the matrix clause can also be gapped. Even when, from the perspective of English, it should be obligatory because it alone indicates the syntactical role taken by the relative clause. Look at this example here. Mazda dadad ahuro vanghoj vazdware manangho. Ahura Mazda gives the fat vazdware of good thinking, vanghoj manangho, to him, which in a Western would be achmai, but is not expressed in this example. To him, ye hoi mainyu shiauthanaisha urwatho, who, ye, is his ally, hoi ovatho through his intention and his acts. Mein you in the instrumental and shiauthanaischa. So literal translation of the Avestan sentence would be Ahura Mazda gives the fat of good thinking who is his ally through his intention and his acts. And the demonstrative pronoun is gapped here. The antecedents of relative clauses are frequently incorporated into the relative clause. An example is Je moi vidvor vouchat haithim morthrem. The knowing one, vidvor, who, ye, will tell, vouchat, me, moi, the true formula, haithim morthrem. Here we see that the antecedent vidvor, to which the relative pronoun ye refers, the knowing one, who, that this antecedent is actually incorporated into the clause. In relative clauses with a nominal predicate, the copula is often gapped, just as in other nominal sentences. In such a case, the case of the relative pronoun may be attracted to that of its antecedent. To illustrate this, we can take the same example as just before and just include the next two words as well. So again, je moi vidvor vouchat haithim morthrem, the knowing one who tells me the true formulation, yim hauratato, which is the one of wholeness. Here, the relative yim, which we would expect to stand in the nominative, has adopted the accusative marking of its antecedent morthrem. In many relative clauses with gapped copula, the reason why the relative pronoun appears at all is not obvious. Sometimes the relative pronoun merely serves to introduce an apposition, as in this example here. Asem, yo Ahura Mazda, I, Ahura Mazda, or word by word, I, who is Ahura Mazda. In other cases, one might attribute a sort of explanative function to the relative, as in the second example, taish yauthanaish, yaish vahishhtaish, by means of these actions, which are the best, or namely the best ones. Elsewhere, the relative pronoun seems to have developed to a marker of specificity, as in Karshvare Yat Arzahi, the continent Karshvare Arzahi, or literally the continent which is Arzahi. When it precedes its antecedent, the relative may even take the appearance of a definite article. Yo yimo shaito, instead of yimo yo shaito, yima, who is splendid, shaito. Finally, in Young Avestan, the nominative accusative singular neuter form often functions as an invariable relative particle, unmarked for case. Puthrem yat Purushaspahe. The son, Puthrem, who, here the relative particle yat, is that of Purushaspa, Purushaspahe, or simply the son of Purushaspa. This was the third video belonging to the syntax section of our series on Avestan. Thank you for watching. Please join me again for the fourth and final video, in which we will again deal with various features of the Avestan clause.